I'm traveling to the 48 most amazing coffee countries on the planet. Today I'm flying to Hawaii in search of the world's best Kona coffee. But what I find is something much more powerful. Where coffee takes you is going to the big island of Hawaii. Running along the west coast of the big island, Kona is famous for its volcanic soil and the world-class coffee that grows there. I'm heading to the town of Holualoa to visit a coffee farm that's rumored to have the best coffee in Hawaii.
Welcome to Monarch Coffee. This is Holualoa. Holualoa is one of the volcanoes here in Hawaii. In the early morning, we have this bright sunshine that comes in off of the volcano. Then by the afternoon, the clouds roll in. We start to get a little bit of rain. And it's that cloud coverage that is the heart of where the flavor and the nuances come from Kona coffee. The reason we're called Monarch Coffee is because of the monarchs. My dad had retired from the specialty grocery industry. Him and my mom decided to buy this property in Maui. Our initial farm was only 1 acre and we needed more, and that's what brought us to Kona. So we came to this property, we're driving up the driveway, and we come up right here and pull up right behind where you're at. And there's all of this ugly weed, and it's like, oh my gosh. And we get out of the car and there's just butterflies everywhere. And my mom's spirit and my mom's joy just like exploded, and it was like, this is it. This is how Monarch Coffee started.
That's the naming of the farm,
That's
basically.
Exactly it. It's Monarch Coffee. They're such like a beautiful representation of butterflies. We're constantly changing and evolving. We can't be afraid of that.
I've come to Monarch because they've tried to do something that no one's ever done in Hawaii before, with a special varietal called Gesha.
So most of the coffee grown in Hawaii is a Typica, Guatemalan Typica. We went on an origin trip to Panama, where we discovered and fell in love with the varietal Gesha. But what we loved was just how unique that coffee tasted. It was the most coffee tasting coffee.
It's very delicate.
Very delicate. So Gesha originates in Ethiopia. So we came back and started talking to other people, and they're like, oh, it will never grow. It's not high enough elevation.
What is the elevation over there?
We're right here, we're at 1,600 feet. In Panama, it's growing over 2,000 meters,
Oh,
right?
wow.
There was lots of feedback of why it wouldn't work. So that's like the bad thing to tell my dad, right?
Yeah.
How something isn't gonna work. We decided like we were gonna go ahead and take the risk. We were gonna do it right. Off to Kona we came, bearing our fruit.
Like pioneers, like the pilgrims onto the big island. Here's our Gesha.
So when you plant from seed to about 2 feet tall is 1 year. So when it gets about 2 feet tall, we can then put it in the ground. From the time that we put the seed in, grow out, to the time that we had our first harvest was about 5 years.
And you have no idea how it's gonna cup, how it's gonna taste.
We had no idea. We just knew that it grew and it produced fruit, and we were ready.
So Abby, you guys bring in the Gesha seeds, and it takes 5 years to get it from seedling to first harvest. And you enter that first crop into the Hawaiian cupping competition. I'd love to hear what happens.
We were starting to pull off, hundreds and hundreds of pounds of coffee. We're milling all of that coffee by hand.
I've done it.
Right. The guys, their arms are tired, they're fatigued. We're milling until 11 and 12 o'clock at night. So fast forward, we're at the conference, they're making the announcements. We were just make a mark, just a recognition. My mom and dad are fatigued and working late, and you're hearing the names call out, and you're not number 10, and you're not number 9, and you're not number 8. And then they start calling the name, and it was like, first place overall Kona. We're like, oh my gosh, my mom's crying. And now how could it even get any sweeter? We won first place for Kona coffee.
Gosh.
And then first place overall for the whole state. And
For the state of Hawaii,
for the entire state of Hawaii, and all the coffee farmers. It just wowed everyone. But by bringing in this varietal, it's elevated all of Hawaii.
I'm so inspired by Abby's family. I need to learn more about this extraordinary island, so I head east to Hilo to meet a man who has a powerful story about how one moment can change your entire life.
My name is Kalani Umi. I come from Kiokaha, and I'm the captain on sailing vessel Kiakahi.
Kalani has a deep passion for Polynesian wayfinding. He built this amazing sailing va'a to pass on ancient Hawaiian knowledge to youth like his son, Tava.
Polynesian wayfinding was asleep for 600 years, and 11 Hawaiian uncles, they found the last wayfinder on the planet that was willing to teach the art of navigation. Knowledge is useless if it's trapped in a bottle.
I'm in awe of Kalani's deep connection to Hawaiian culture, but there was a time when his life was drifting in a very, very different direction.
So 25 years ago, I was faced with an ultimatum. I'm standing in front of a judge here in Hilo, and they told me, either you go do jail time or you go to drug treatment. I chose drug treatment, and they placed me in a Hawaiian culture-based program called Ho'omaukeola, and in that program I found myself. They took us out to Makua Bay. At that bay, it had close to 20,000 native Hawaiians on the shoreline. We're celebrating the life of Israel Kamaka Vivaole. Here comes a big sailing vessel, a Hawaiian sailing canoe, marching into the bay, and the person on deck was asked me if I could situate the anchor around the coral reef, which I did, and I've never let go of the anchor since. I got connected to my culture, but also connecting us back to the ocean. I was at the lowest of lowest. Everything after that was all uphill.
For someone out there that maybe is in a similar situation, that lost their path, that is looking for some kind of inspiration, that's looking to kind of get back, what would you tell them?
Either get help to make change. If you gotta know when it's your time to change.
How about we raise the main and let's sail?
Sure. What do you think, Tawa?
Yeah.
I'm inspired with Kalani's story, by his transformation like a Polynesian wayfinder, making the difficult journey to become the man he is today. A caring father, a teacher, sharing knowledge with his son.
This is the most important part. This is called the hoiuli. This is the one that steers the whole canoe.
As a father, like, what does it mean to you personally, passing it down to your son?
It is special, One day I hope I get to sail with him to Tahiti. And that's what we do with our kids, we teach them. The more you teach, the better you get. The more you give, the more you get.
Meeting Kalani makes me think about the profound importance of family and how Monarch Farm is truly a family affair. From Abby and her husband to their son Joshua, who seems to always be around to lend a helping hand.
Could you tell me a little bit about your journey with Joshua?
For our family, we call him lovingly the mascot. He brings everybody together. I realized there was a uniqueness to him, at 6 months. Just started noticing some stimulation issues, and it was challenging. Lots and lots and lots of long sleepless nights.
And he was crying every day?
Every day, to the part where he's throwing up and just miserable. I was tired. And then it was time for him to go to school. We started noticing a disconnect between peers.
The social aspect. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And a high discomfort level of any time he was away from Salarai. I kept thinking, oh my gosh, he's never gonna leave my side.
And at this point, there's no formal diagnosis, right?
No. And every year or every time we'd see the doctor, I'd bring these issues up and she'd say, no, he's just the youngest child. He's your baby, it was just always dismissed. In first grade, we had a new doctor, Dr. March. I never said anything, and we walked into Joshua's first checkup with him, or appointment, and he says, has anybody ever talked to you about Joshua? He is fine, and he's unique, and God created him as he is, but he should not be this uncomfortable, and there's systems and there's treatments available and help him be as successful and as comfortable as he wants to be. And it was immediately I felt, okay, we're gonna get some help. He was diagnosed as autistic spectrum disorder with a sensory processing disorder and an auditory processing disorder.
And how did it feel when you finally got a diagnosis?
There was relief, and I just wish there were more opportunities for us to share, that we're going through hard times.
So when I was younger, I really had a hard time speaking with other people. With my severe anxiety, I really didn't like to say much. Kids weren't necessarily cruel, they just didn't quite understand. It's taken years to be able to get to the point to where I can just speak to someone regularly.
This just recent year, Dr. March and his wife came to visit the farm, and Joshua wanted to give them a little bit of a farm tour. There was this passion and this love that sparked, and then led to another farm tour and another farm tour. Now he's like our #1 farm tour guide.
That's beautiful.
Well, welcome guys up to Monarch Coffee. I'm Joshua. I will be running your tour today. I try to create a experience that makes people fall in love with us. There have been a lot of people who say, I've never been into coffee until after this tour. It really does feel good.
Joshua's evolution can serve as an inspiration for all of us when we feel like something is holding us back or there's a challenge we can't overcome. And his transformation has continued way beyond the walls of the coffee farm.
You should be absolutely proud of what you guys have accomplished and who he has become. And I can see this beautiful place in Monarch Farms contributing to a lot of that. He's just thriving.
He does what he loves. He beats to his own drum.
As I reflect on this journey, I'm so inspired, thinking about Kalani and how one moment changed his entire life. The powerful nature of change, of evolving like the monarch butterfly on this incredible island called Hawaii. We're all one family brought together by this amazing being. Subscribe and continue with us on our next exciting destination. To learn more about Abby, Joshua, and Kalani, and to experience our exclusive coffees, go to angelinos.com/travel.